Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back to Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV, brought to you by the Department for Development and Social Services. This edition, we have something very special for you as we talk about Goal Setting 101, Business Planning and Strategy. What do we need to know when it comes to goal setting? What are the actionable steps that we need to take moving forward with our goals so that we can attain all of them? These and many more do we have for you right here on PCG TV, and so do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Entrepreneurship Clinic, the January edition, as we are sponsored by Salem Water and Salem range of products. We have the hair food, we have the shea oil, we have the tissues, and many other products. And so do get close to any of the Presbyterian institutions or the head office and get any of these products for yourself. And we are so honored to have with us in the studio one of the very good people who are well vexed in this conversation. And so you have a lot to learn. And this person is Dr. Alexander T.K. Nwe, and he is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, and he's also the national chair for the Entrepreneurship Committee. And he has over 25 years of working experience in international development, social entrepreneurship, and agribusiness. Also over 20 years of mentoring and coaching young people across the continent, and a technical advisor for the Design Thinking and Innovation Hub at the University of Cape Coast. You're most welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
It's good to have you, and in this very first edition in the year 2026, having to talk about goal setting and all of that, it's very important that we look into all of those conversations so that young people and young entrepreneurs can set their goals rightly. And so you're most welcome once again.
Thank you once
and happy
again.
to have you on the show.
Good.
So let's get right into it. Talking about goal setting, sometimes we hear all of these things, especially in January, because we have started a fresh year. People are writing, people are keeping them, and a whole lot of things. But what do we need to know when we talk about goal setting?
And so thank you very much, and glad to be part in here. And when you talk of goal setting, we're basically looking at the process, right, of looking at what really, truly matters most to you as an individual, if we're looking at it from that perspective, right, that process. In the context of entrepreneurship, to whatever business, product, or services that you engage with. All right. So goal setting is having that kind of intentionally setting up priorities. That is one. Again, looking at what time do you have that you'll be able to allocate both resources, which time itself is, to, and also being able to nurture or set up a certain path line. You know, like you want to go and score a goal. You know, the soccer. You have the midfielders, you have the goalkeepers, you have the strikers, you know, looking at all those, that together, you'll be able to contribute and pass the ball till you get to go to score the goal. All right, good. So basically goal setting is that processes that you put in place to make sure that your business moves from A to Z. Right, or you move yourself from A to Z, or that which you set up to do. Like you said at the beginning of the year, by December 31st, you could recall and say that I've been able to do what? Get to that level.
To that level. Yeah. I picked a very key thing, saying process, intentionality, and priority when it comes to goal setting. And so let's start with the process. As a young entrepreneur, you have begun the year, you have to set your goals again, realign to your vision, your mission, and all those things. So what should be involved in the process of setting your goals so that you know, okay, just like you use the analogy for soccer, from here I move to that step, from here I move there before I get to score a goal, before I get to make my profit. What should be put in place in setting all of those goals to get to the end point?
Thank you. The first thing you need to look at is the data of the previous year. All right. So if we're talking about 2026 goal setting, you have to look at how did you fall for yourself, for your business in 2025? What were the strengths that you saw? Right? What were the weaknesses? Right? What were the opportunities you really didn't take advantage or you were not much particular about? What were some of the threats that came? In principle, you're looking at what in business parlance we say the SWOT.
Okay.
Right. So that data now helps you to say, where do you want to go to? All right. So the process, 2025, this is where I got to. 2026, this is where I intend to go to. So the first is the data. All right. The second is yourself. All right.
What about you?
What about you? So if as you are an individual, you. If you are corporate, then you in terms of being what? The corporate. So the people you work with, right? The people you engage in, the resources itself that is also available. You have to look at all those, even where you worked in, your location. And you know, these days we're even talking also about the virtual spaces. Maybe you are using IG or Facebook, right? You're looking at all those things and probably now threats. Right. And LinkedIn, you know, you want to go into those exploring others, you know. So the process of what you could take advantage of within these are most important things. And then per your SWOT, you know where you misalign, that you need to realign. What is it that you need to bring on board? What is it that you need to take out? All right. And then set up the step by step, like we use the soccer thing. Step by step processes to get to where you want to get to by 31st December 2026.
That's very important. And I like the fact that you said data from the previous year. Sometimes we say that, oh, maybe 2025 didn't go well. I don't even want to remember anything from 2025 because maybe it caused a lot of troubles, a lot of pain, or you made a lot of losses. And so you just want to let that go and start afresh. How about those who have those thoughts as well? Is it still important that you should bring some of the things from the previous year into the new one so that is it going to be lessons? What is it going to look like for somebody who maybe it didn't go well in the previous year and so they just want to let that go and start afresh?
Let me profoundly say, because this is Entrepreneurship Clinic, failure itself is a good resource. Right. And feedback is the best gift you get. We are in the part of the world that mostly when it comes to the past, we don't want to revisit the past. We are very emotional about it. But any good entrepreneur, any good investor, any good person that wants to become better, which the word very well, good, wants to become better, you would have to do a good pause and reflect. And then be honest to say, to know why this didn't go the way it didn't go. It would be even good to have a third party to give you those feedback in addition. And that is the only way you can grow. Right. Anywhere I go and all my courses in strategy, I teach failure. Which is very important. Business failure. The top business guys will tell you that they failed. Exactly. So if you want to get into that level, it should be that begin to work on your emotional intelligence. Right? Begin to look at all those times, things that really will help you to brace the reality. Because if you don't brace the reality with the facts and figures, how do you move to them? So you want to forget about it. Yes, I understand your emotions. But then 2026, is this going to be the same? Are you also going to still? So you'll be going on the visual cycle. Right? But when you take the advantage of sitting back, it was painful. I can't say that if you drink bitter medicine, you get well faster. It's a bitter medicine you need to take to get healthy. Right.
Maybe and so you don't need to take it once.
Exactly. So I would entreat our young entrepreneurs up and coming that it is normal to feel that way. And you are not the first, neither are you going to be the last to feel that way. Your ability to set up a process, steps to overcome it and to become your better selves for yourself and for your business is the next step to getting the figures right in the next line.
I think that's really profound because a lot of the times people fail and we don't want to accept the fact that we made mistakes because when people see that you are failing, we are thinking of what others are going to say. That's all. Maybe you don't know how to do it and you're forcing yourself or something. And so it's so hard for you to accept the fact that, yes, I failed and I need to try again. So even when it happens that way, then some people begin to feel like, okay, it may not be my field, and so let me just round it all up, or let me just fold up and try something else? Is that supposed to be the case? Maybe we'll talk about that in the challenges phase when it comes to goal setting and then how to attain all of them. But these are realities that young people are facing. It's either in their personal lives or in their businesses as young entrepreneurs. So we'll come back and then pick that one again, why people feel that way, and if that should be the best approach to fold up to say that this is not my field, let me try another business. And if they fail, they try another one, they keep trying another one. So I think that it's good that we come back to that. So if you are just joining us, this is Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV, and it is brought to you by the Department for Development and Social Services. And we are sponsored by Salem Water and Salem range of products. We have the hair food, we have the body butter, we have shea oil, we have tissues, and many others that you can get close to the Presbyterian institutions. And then you can afford some of them for your consumption or for your trade and whatever you want to use them for. They are available for you. And we are having a conversation with Dr. Nwe, who is the chair for the National Entrepreneurship Committee for Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and also a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. And I believe that by now you are taking some notes already, so you know that setting goals don't just happen, but you need to take certain deliberate steps to set your goals and be able to attain all of them. So coming back to you once again, Doc, for the three things that I picked, the key things that I picked from your earlier submissions, we talked about process. Now the intentionality. How intentional can a person be in setting their goals? So it doesn't look like, oh, yes, intentional, I've written it down, but they are just going somewhere else and going wayward or deviating from the very things they have written. How intentional can we be?
Thank you. Let's go back to the sports again. Or let's go to, let's start with the sports again. See, each coach from both sides is so much intentional that when he sees that the players are not going the way he wants them to go as a team, he does what? Substitute. So that some other people or players will come in to continue with the same shared vision. That is that part of purposefulness, being intentional in that, right? We just had this AFCON, and we see how intentionally a leader out of the players could say, I am not going out. Our purpose is to play to the end, win or lose. And what happened? They won. Sadio Mane, right? If it wasn't intentional, it wasn't purposeful, look at the disgrace that could have come. Now let's come to the business again. It is that pathway that youth and the young entrepreneur need to know, that you need to have your coaches and your mentors and that leader around, whom when things begin to be that not good, as you talked about earlier, you'll be able to approach him or her or them to be able to guide you, because they followed that path before. Right. So being purposeful as an intentionality in your goal setting helps you to, when you face those challenges, as you rightly said earlier, you'll be able to rely on that to move on. Other than that, you are always reinventing the wheel. Before you realize, maybe you were just 18 years. Before you realize, you are 38 years. And then 48 years, and 58 years, and 108 years. Exactly. You get it. And you've not achieved
what you wanted to achieve. We'll come back and talk about them and continue that intentionality and the purposefulness that you have brought up again. But just to say again that if you just joined us, it's Entrepreneurship Clinic, the January edition, and we are talking about goal setting 101, business planning and strategy. We'll be right back as we go on a very short break. Welcome back to the Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV, and this is the January edition as we talk about Goal Setting 101, Business Planning and Strategy. And we have in the studio Dr. Alexander Nwe, who is the chair for the National Entrepreneurship Committee and also a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. And so far we have been talking about the need for you to have a goal, the need for you to be intentional, and the process that is involved in setting your goals and being able to attain them as a young business person, as an entrepreneur, or as a young person who wants to start their own thing. And even in your personal life, you need these bits or these tips for you to be able to attain whatever purpose that you have in your life. And this is brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV. And we are sponsored by Salem Water and the Salem range of products. We have the tissues, we have the hair food, we have shea oil, body butter, we have palm oil, and many other products, the cereal mix. And so do get close to any of the Presbyterian institutions, any of the churches, or come to the head office, and then you get some of these products for trade or for consumption. We are getting back right into the conversation, and so you have a lot to learn. And so keep your comments as well coming on the other social media platforms as well. So, Doc, before we went on the break, we were talking about how intentional a person can be in setting their goals, and then the things they need to put in place, the lessons they need to also include from their past and all of that. And using that analogy with the field or the soccer players and all of that, coming to the fact that sometimes you may be intentional. I mean, you want to do something, you feel you have written it down, you feel you have put the things that you need to put in place properly, the measures you need to put in place properly, but still things are not going so well. Does that mean that maybe you haven't been intentional enough, or it means that you have been intentional but using the wrong measures?
Thank you very much. And the scripture says, lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Okay.
All right. And so once you get in, if you set your goal well and you done your SWOT, like we talked about, knowing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the strengths, you would already come to the realization that, okay, this is not going right. One, do I lack the knowledge or the skill sets? Right. I've done what I think I've done everything.
Yeah.
You know, the prophet was like, he's left with me. He said, no, there are others who are still not bowed to bow. Right, in there. And then that brought in that arise and eat, for the journey is far, comes in here. So you sit, you pause, you reflect. Okay, where do I have it not right? Okay. And what do I need to do? Do I go to that pathway? Do I go to my mentor? Do I go to a coach? All right. Do I subscribe to self-learning pathways? These days, we have a lot of areas you can learn, from Google to the Coursera's and all those things, right? That are even YouTube. You know, the interesting thing, we use YouTube for a lot of music, especially with the ladies, right? But that's where the bundle of knowledge also is with this. You get them free. Lots of it. Right. Do you subscribe to other forms of learning, capacity building, education? That is in there. Do you want to go and sit and stay under somebody who has done it before and learn to be able to get in there? Most of our youth, and I know we'll get to that conversation, is that we want to just get it now, and not ready to really pause, reflect, and assess, and be able to place ourselves in the context. Maybe what you are doing, you've looked at somebody and you follow the intentionality, all right, everything. Somebody who is dealing with, let's say, manicure. Okay. Right. But yours is food processing. The dynamics may not be the same. Definitely. Right. The process is the same. So you have to look at those dynamics and contextualize to your field. Then you'll be able to understand why it is not going the way it's not going. And then you take the actionable steps. That is why the goal setting comes in. The actionable steps within a certain timeline. Okay. Right. And then you're able to get in there. Our youth would encourage to look at it that it's not all of them that you can go alone. Okay. You say you want to go far, you go alone. If you want to go fast, okay. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But far, you go with people. Yeah. Most big people, most successful people didn't do it alone. I'm using the word most because to every rule there are few exceptions, and it might be just less than 1%. Okay. Yeah. So then we can come back to the priority bit of it. That's what things do you need to prioritize? Like you mentioned, a lot of the young people nowadays do not have the patience to wait, to learn before they start and all of that. They feel, okay, once I have this knowledge, I think I can start from there. And then they get to the middle of it and they start dwindling so fast. And so what things do we need to prioritize? Even that can apply to the personal lives of people, because there are students and stuff who may be watching. There are young corporate people who may be watching as well, and then young entrepreneurs. So
what should we take into consideration for the priorities in setting our goals so that we don't attain something, but in the end, it wasn't what we really needed, or we didn't even have to start at that point? What do we need to prioritize?
The first priority, I know people are going to go like, okay, we didn't think it that way. It's time. I hope you didn't think it that way.
No, tell us
You
more.
prioritize time. You know,
Okay.
between the period of a prophecy and the fulfillment is time.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
David, the prophecy, the anointing, and the time he became, it was time. All right. Joseph, it was the same time. Hadassah, Esther, it was time.
Okay.
Hannah, it was time. Elizabeth, it was time.
Okay.
Mary, it was time. Right. So most of the times and that's why I like these programs that we're doing now, to be able to, as we're celebrating our heritage, building on the foundation already laid. That is the theme for this year, right? The Communica year.
Yeah.
Look at the Brazil missionaries. They were very young, most of them that came. Time. Some were dying, some were coming, and they were doing and they were going. Some were led. Well, I just heard about Zimmerman recently again when Director Teku preached at Lagos on Sunday, right? Zimmerman from the Eastern to the Ashanti, right, in there, and all those other. It is time that led them to finally get to the fulfillment of the vision. So that's the first thing we need to prioritize as Christians, as entrepreneurs, as people that are the business purpose. All right, as students that want to reach a certain line. Your goal setting is within time. If you want to do medicine, mostly it's so clear. You know you're going to do 7 years. But then if you want to just do whichever business you want, why don't you look at the time involved in setting it? So that's the first thing you need to look at. The second thing you need to prioritize is your resources, which includes your availability. And you say you connect with time, right? The resources that is available, you yourself as a resource, right? Your availability to work in. Because that is what will lead you to get to the next line, that is ownership.
Okay.
Do you own what is it that you want to go in? Have you understood the dynamics, including the risk and the joy of that, to prepare yourself for that business, to prepare yourself for that service, to prepare for yourself for that goal that you set to achieve within that time team? If you're able to work it in that way, you see, you realize that you minimize the pressure, both internal and external pressure. That is why you will not be so much worried when somebody who started ahead of you is going better than you, because you understand the process. All right. And you have that sense of purpose within that. If not, you would always follow the crowd and you always get a burnout. It doesn't mean that when you do all these things, you're going to always be 100%. Right. But mostly with this pathway, you are online. So prioritize time first. Look at your availability. Take ownership with purpose in that line. And the final part, walk the talk.
Okay. That's the difficult part, I think.
Yeah.
Being able to walk the talk for a lot of young people. Because when you start exactly like for the first month of the year, everybody has the zeal, the energy, but in March, going, then you realize that other things are coming in, popping up, and then people get so distracted and they are not able to follow their goals. Why does it happen that way? Why does it? Sometimes you don't understand. Someone decides, okay, for this year I want to start going to the gym. I'm just using that as an example. And in January they start with all the energy. By the time it's middle of February, once a week or even for some weeks they won't even be there and all of that. Why does it happen that way?
You see, there's a difference between agenda goal setting, right?
Okay.
And a resolution.
Okay.
Most of the time, what you're talking about falls within the New Year resolution. I will do this. I will do this. I will do that. Of course, it also follows pause and reflection, right? But then, does it really follow the goal setting that you set? That shall decree a thing and shall be established. Then you walk the talk, right? Most of them sometimes misconstrue the two.
Okay.
You see the whole thing?
I'm getting the revelation.
You are getting the
small.
revelation in now and then.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that most of us need to understand.
Okay.
When you set goals, there are specific steps and principles you want to follow. When you say, I will change things, I will do this as a resolution, does not necessarily mean that as you resolve, you will do.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
And also, like you said, the steam goes down when you really not pause and reflect and place in all your thoughts, like we talked about earlier. All right. If you place them in, you will not know that, okay, last year I tried and by March I couldn't. Who and who do I need now to be even my cheerleaders?
Okay.
All right. That's what we talked about. The mentors, that the coaches, the accountability, your self-ownership part also.
Yeah.
That when it gets to this, I will still pursue.
Okay.
You get it? Yeah. And it's the persistency that brings in that. But if you do not persist, where do you get into? You get those distractions. And once you own and you are focused on that, those distractions, trust you me, will come. But then you'll be able to surmount them. You know, it's just like the missionaries. The more it was coming, the more they were persisting. The Moravian missionaries, those are, I think, the third or the fourth line that helped to set up the church, right? And they were intentional. They persist. They just didn't resolve to come to the then Gold Coast, right? They had a certain goal that they set, and then they were able to achieve it. Yeah.
Persistence.
Sometimes you need to even change your color of thinking.
Color of thinking.
Yes. You know, the color of thinking principle is just about, this is how I perceive it. But probably I've looked at it in that way. Now I need to what? Change, try in another pathway. It's like they'll have water in the jug. You've been looking at it as half empty. Now you have to look at it as half full, and then you move into that.
Okay, that's really interesting to hear that. So now we know that resolutions are not the same as goals. So we should be able to use the process that has been given for our goal setting, being able to put in a process, knowing that is a process, and then being intentional about it, and then making priorities. So you don't just say it and say that, oh, this is my goal, and then you end it over there. So we'll be coming back to that again, but just to ask that, what are some of the mistakes that young people are making when it comes to goal setting as a business planning and strategy? What are we doing that isn't helping when it comes to our goal setting, especially in the businesses?
Thank you. Mostly we have too many priorities that we set. All right. Okay. It should be so smart, simple, right? Measurable, attainable, realistic within the time frame. If we set up too many priorities without checking our ability to implement all of them, what happens? All these other things comes in. We get burnout and all those things. There are people who are naturally gifted who can set up multiple priorities and still attain. Yeah. They may be just 1% or 5%. So you must know yourself. Man, know thyself, as the scripture says. Yeah. And be so real that you would be able to see that, yes, you know, it's good to have be 20 years, 22 years, and already have a vision that in the next 5 years, you have your own car, you have your own house, and all. It's good, but is it real?
That's very important.
You get it. So that's one of the major mistakes. And then I don't want to even call it mistake, more about disinformation, misinformation that we have, because it may not necessarily be a mistake, not taking it in the right, you know, for mistake, you know. So it is the ability to be able to come out to say, I'm you. In my context, I will attain this, all things being equal also. And then as a Christian, as the Lord leads.
As the Lord leads.
You get it?
We are going for a short break, and we'll come back to continue on the mistakes or the misinformation that is out there. People are thinking, oh, this is the right way, but it's really not the right way. So this is still Entrepreneurship Clinic, and the January edition, as we're talking about Goal Setting 101, Business Planning and Strategy. We are going for a short break. We'll be right back to continue the conversation. Stay with us. you for sticking and staying with us on Entrepreneurship Clinic, brought to you by the Department for Development and Social Services of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana in collaboration with the PCG TV. And we are sponsored by Salem Water and Salem range of products. We have the hair food, we have the cereal mix, we have the palm oil, we have shea oil, and many other products. And so just get close to any of the Presbyterian institutions for some of these products for yourself. And on the show, we are having Dr. Alexander T.K. Nwe, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and also the chair for the National Entrepreneurship Committee, discussing Goal Setting 101, business planning and strategy, what we need to know in planning and what we need to know in strategizing for the year as young entrepreneurs, as students, as Christian youth, as Presbyterians, and wherever you are watching us from. This program is for you because it helps you to set your feet rightly for the journey ahead of you. And you can share your comments, any experiences, any questions via our social media platforms on Preset or PCG TV so that we can take it from there as well. And so coming back to the conversation, as we left off talking about the various mistakes that some young entrepreneurs may make or some people make when it comes to setting their goals, before we get into the business planning and the strategy part of it, you mentioned some of the mistakes that people are making, or the misinformations that are spreading out there, or the information disorders that people are experiencing when it comes to goal setting and not being able to contextualize and unhealthy comparisons and all of that. What other things can we talk about so that people get to know and not make some of those mistakes?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. So the other thing also is like poor planning.
Okay.
Right. If it's garbage in, cabbage out, technically speaking. If you plan without being real, you're going to fail.
True.
Right. And so the major, or one of the major pathways that we're talking about is being able to plan and plan well. The planning itself, it's a guide also that guides you to be able to become your better self. Right. It helps the business also to become a better legal person. You know, businesses are legal persons. Right. Good. So that is it. Whether it's a service or a product, it's very important to be able to get in there. The other thing also that comes in that mostly we also tend to not look at it is having emergency-driven planning.
Okay.
Right. So some will not plan, but only plan on ad hoc and emergency. Right. You've done the thing, now you're in the middle and things are just getting off. That's when you are beginning to think of ways and means to salvage it. That is one thing that comes in. The other thing is also the aspect of not following up, lack of following up on the things that you work on. You talk to one or two people about your business. You got one or two clientele or customers, and then you stop.
It's enough for you.
It's enough for you. Right. You should be able to get those clientele to be able to make a business case. Some people, once they start making a few hundreds or thousands of CDs, they feel okay.
Satisfied.
What is the market share that you need to look at to be able to get in there? We normally start most of our businesses without looking at those. Right. Even who is doing what, when, and how. What is your unique selling proposition? Right, for your business, for the services, the product that you're working on, even for yourself. You know, we ourselves, we need to do that also. For instance, I know very well, and I know I'm on A. I know very well that I flow more in the relativity informal section than the formal section. All right. So because I'm not too much a quote person, you won't get me getting to do plenty quotes things. I have a lot of quotes. You get it? I don't wear them. I only wear them occasion, graduations and everything. That is my unique proposition. To be able to reach out to the youth, I am more in that line. There is somebody yours you cannot. So being able to work into that pathway would help you too. And so whether you've the aged and business people will tell you the same. All right. And so that's something that you need to look at. What is your unique selling proposition? And mostly we do not look at it. Right. What is it that helps you, you know, because you are working and you are becoming successful host. And people around you also want to become host. Maybe you're a writer. Like I said, maybe yours is carpentry.
Yeah.
Yours is medicine. You should be able to align it in that line. But the mistake is, and sometimes I want to say this on air, sometimes it's our parents and relatives that also push us, especially when it comes to the youth context that you ask the question.
That's true.
And therefore, we want to do the bidding of our parents. Because a Christian, that's what the scripture says, right? Obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
As to whether it's in the Lord sometimes.
Good, good. And so it's a time for both parents in this context to be able to also understand the uniqueness and the unique calling. You know, Jesse didn't consider David to be.
Yeah.
But he had been trained in the wilderness. You're right. And even the prophet Samuel had taught the senior brothers was one of them until the Lord said no. Of course, I know we'll come to the biblical parts in this conversation.
It's right in context.
Yeah, so there's something that we need to look at in it holistically. That mistakes come because we do not align with the right pathway. And therefore it affects us in that context. So that's something that we need to talk about. Of course, poor preparation is also and sometimes the dominance of voices. It might be more or few voices, right? That people will listen to.
Okay.
My mommy says, my papi says, my mentor says, my pastor says.
Then you're confused. You don't know which one to take.
You get confused too. And Bible says, when you lack wisdom, you go to the Lord also. You get it. So I would say that these are some of the things. This is not exhaustive, but in the context of the church, the program, these are some of the few I would like to align. Maybe, like you said, the question time and the rest, we're able to explore and talk about other places.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think those are very important things being raised because sometimes you don't even see them as distracting you or just swaying you from the very things you want to do, like the dominance of voice. I've not heard that term, but I'm just thinking that it's really real because sometimes you want to do and you are seeking opinions from too many people, sometimes too many people, because you feel this person has done something, he was successful, the other person did, she was okay as well. So you want to pick from all of them, not considering the fact that your context may be different and their experiences, their markets and everything would also be different. So I think it's very important that you mentioned it. So sometimes young people, we consider that as well. A lot of people are, making mistakes because somebody said, and you ask yourself, so what do I say? What do I think? But we are not asking for wisdom from the Lord. So we don't even have a direction. So we are just being directed by people. So I think it's very true. So let's come to the business planning part of it. What components would be, what are the components when it comes to business planning and even the strategy? What should be taken into consideration? Are they the same as setting goals or there are different things?
Okay, so for the planning for the business line, there's a thin line of goal setting. But what we need to ask ourselves when it comes to the business is, where are we now?
Okay.
With the business. That is if you started. If you're not started already, you're looking at where you want to go to. What is it that you have or intend to have that you want to get into? Again, the planning is what? The processes.
Okay.
And that's where your goal setting thing comes in. But this time is for the business.
Okay.
The other thing you need to look at is where you want to go to and in what way. And how will you get there? These are the basics for business planning, right? Whichever business. And see, when we're talking about business, you can say, I'll keep talking about business being a service or a product or a mix of the two.
Okay.
But sometimes we ignore the services in the business line, right? And sometimes we also overemphasize the product line. Some are service lines, some are product lines. So with all those three questions come in. And then the other thing that comes in is what is guiding your resource allocation.
Okay.
All right. You still could do the SWOT in there.
Okay.
But what support services you have? Support services still goes to resource in terms of funding, in terms of logistics, in terms of clientele and all those. Yeah, that comes in. And then also your sustainability pathway. For the business planning, these days, you cannot work much to have a better and a bigger business plan that is more, influential, for the want of the word, that you don't have a sustainability pathway to it. And then being able to also look at who does what, when, and how, the role pathway, and then the responsibility pathway. The planning helps you to do all those things within the context of the environment which you operate or you intend to venture into. Right. These are some of the core things that we need to look at when it comes to business planning. So those processes, and of course, you put them down also. Similar to the goal setting.
By writing, making the vision clear.
Exactly.
But sometimes I ask, are there any disadvantages to not writing? Sometimes people feel, oh, I can keep things in my head. I can't go and be making reference every time. Or it's not real.
I would say it depends. And always, for me, I always talk about the 1% that are exceptional. You get it? That 1% happens. For instance, I know myself very well. My students, I know my students are watching me. Okay. My students know mine is not the chill pass and forget. No. You get it? I prepare my notes and I'm in the lecture room and I don't have a single paper holding. All right. And so if you want to compare me to those others who need to
go another,
you get it. But the secret is I still plan and I work it. So chronologically, I have something I've placed in there. And so it is good to plan it, write it. And that's what you say, the vision is for the appointed time. You need to put it down. That's what the scripture says. So that it becomes clear. You get it? And so it is important to do that, depending or irrespective of the tools you use. Maybe yours is, like you said, able to place it everything in. Are you sure by 31st December 2026, it's still clearer? That is where the realistic pathway comes in. Sometimes we deceive our own intuition and mindset. I don't think when I was a youth and now, the way I do things in terms of planning is the same. If it comes to my businesses I'm dealing with now, it's also not the same as I used to do them 10 years ago. Right. So the dynamics is very important, but be able to put it down in whichever tools. Right. People now are putting it down on their phones. They are doing electronics because they want to be sustainable environmentally. Right. Use that. If you are BBC, one before computer, you still have to use the books. Right. We have the tools that we use in terms of the Excels and all those things that have been developed. Try to invest in those
tools as
well. Because you see, when you are going to go higher and you are going to deal with more corporates, that is what the afefe, as they say, this is what when I'm afefe, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I can use as evidence of the sustainability, how my business is thriving, right, and where I intend to get to with their business. It is also able to help you to get the numbers. Imagine that's in your head, like your question. How are you going to prove the numbers to potential investors and potential partners, to potential clienteles or customers who want your product or service in larger quantities? That is some of the things, and that's why it is important to be able to put it down.
Okay, those are very key points, and I believe that by now you are taking a lot of notes because you need them and then be able to review and then check your timetable and see whether you have been able to align with the purposes that you have and the goals that you intend to also create for yourself. We are going on a short break. We'll come back to round it all up. Thank you very much for staying with us on Entrepreneurship Clinic, the January edition, as we talk about Goal Setting 101, business planning and strategy, what we need to know, and the things that have been discussed so far. I believe that you have taken a lot from them. And then also, we have to put certain things down. We need to plan properly. We need to strategize properly as young entrepreneurs and then as Christian youth as well. Even as individuals, you need all of these things to be able to attain your set goals for yourself. And this is brought to you by the Department of Development and Social Services of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana in collaboration with PCG TV. And we are sponsored by Salem Water and Salem range of products, talking about hair food, talking about palm oil, cereal mix, shea butter, and a host of other products. And so get close to any of the institutions, the Presbyterian institutions, and get some of the products for yourself. And having the conversation with us in the studio is Dr. Alexander T.K. Nwe, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and also the chair for the National Entrepreneurship Committee. And he has really shared a lot of expertise that I believe by now you would have attested to that fact. And so we are getting back into the conversation, and so don't go away. Doc, we are back talking about planning your business and then strategizing as well for your business as a young entrepreneur and even as individuals who want to apply some of those to their personal lives. So moving on, what are some of the things we should take into consideration in strategizing? I know earlier you mentioned some of the tips, but in putting down strategies or in developing strategies, setting goals, and then planning our businesses, putting all together, what are the tips that we need to have that each and every time, whether in our businesses, whether in our schools, academic life, and a host of other circles that can be applied? What do we need to know? And maybe we'll talk about some of the very challenges that people are facing and how to mitigate them. Yeah.
Thank you. So the key word here is also choices.
Okay.
So strategy technically deals with what choices. Again, processes of choices. And so it's about deciding what to focus on and what not to focus on. All right. It's something that comes in the long-term direction, all right, to be able to achieve what you want to do. So strategy is beyond just planning. It's also beyond the day-to-day good, the how to go about. It's about the where and the what.
The how.
All right, good. So one thing that you need to look at when it comes to that is that you should be able to look at what we call the support goals that will lead you to achieve whatever you want to achieve.
Support goals.
Yeah. So what are the goals? What are the things that will support you to achieve the bigger goal? So if you're a student, you're at level 100 now. What is it that will lead you to get to level 400? All right. You are doing tech 1 now under the CTV thing. What is it that will lead you to the final goals that you set for yourself? You are currently learning dressmaking. Right, your future good pathway is to be able to have your own shop whereby you do your hairdressing, manicure, and all those things. That pathway you need to set in. The strategy, what is it that you would do to be able to get in there, and what does it entail in that context? The choices you will make to be able to get into that, right? And that is one thing that comes in. One, being able to align it with your vision and mission.
Okay.
Right. What's your mission like? What's your calling? In the context of the Christian line or your faith-based line, it also connects with your calling.
Yeah.
All right. And the purpose for which you are in. Because he says, before I called you in your mother's womb, before I formed in your mother's womb, I knew you and I've called you to be. So to be that, and it's very important strategically to look at. Again, you also have to look at your environment and do the so-called environmental analysis. Of course, your SWOT analysis comes in, your SMART analysis comes in, your PESTEL analysis. You are using these tools. I think because of time, we may not be able to get into, but basically you are looking at your political environment.
Yeah.
Right, you're looking at the economic situation in the country, the social, even the regulations and the legal stuff that goes on, and then be able to place your strategic pathway into that line. Right, what is so simple, measurable, attainable, and realistic within a certain timeline that you set to yourself for your business, for yourself. I remember at the age of 20, I said by the age of 40, I should have my PhD.
Yeah, you do.
Logically, there seems to be not direct pathway, but then you will tend to develop a strategic decision, choices.
To get there.
Yeah, so whilst my colleagues, some of them were making money, I was cramming books. You understand? Along the line, I needed to make a choice to see whatever I wanted to do. It's almost not too possible then in Ghana to pursue that studies. What are the choices? It took me 6 years before I got to do FEMA studies out there. 6 years of learning to understand the dynamics and working even in businesses and enterprises.
Okay.
All right. So I made those choices at the detriment of what? The luxury at the time. And it is paid off. I have somebody I grew up with who said, I am not good with school. My strategy is to own my own businesses. All right. And so he, after the basic education, started learning strategically the dynamics of that field.
Knowing thyself.
Good. And he's a successful business person now. All right. But it's all of us, we are like 20 years kind of strategic choices to make. And that is the most important. And it connects to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Current youth need to look at those ones also and build it.
Yeah.
Build it so they get to their Rehoboam.
Okay.
You
I
get
think
it.
that's important because for now, it looks like a lot of people don't have that patience to go through the whole process when they can see other people doing so well, their age mates, their classmates. And so they just have to jump in and do something that would make them also be seen.
Exactly.
Maybe sometimes it's good, but
yeah, we have good choices like that. But is it real?
Okay.
You get it? It's good to make those choices, but is it real in your context?
Okay, in your context.
Because somebody's own will come today, yours own will come tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why don't you work within that pathway?
Stay in your lane.
Because in Satiani in but then Satiani in our I tell people all the fingers, the 5, each have their tip ends.
Yeah.
So this one will get to its tip end. This one will get to its tip end. Yeah, but why do you want to cross to when you cannot?
Yeah.
That is
revealing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what are some of the challenges that young people are likely to face in trying to set goals in a bit to plan for their businesses and also strategize?
Peer pressure.
Just on the spot.
Peer pressure. And then also, of course, environmental pressure. By environmental pressure, I mean from families and friends, from the locality you find yourselves in. And then also being misunderstood, right? Because that is a lonely journey. Almost every entrepreneur that becomes successful have to embrace the lonely journey. When you're going through, you may not fully be understood. But since you are purposeful, when you get there, they will tell you, we knew you will get there. But you may not have those spectators to spur you on. But if you committed your way to the Lord, and that is where our context comes in terms of faith-based also, you get that renewal of your strength every day from the Lord, and you get in there. And then when you reach, they will tell you, we knew you would get there.
Very good to hear.
Yeah. And one of the important things within that also is that when you begin to be purposeful, right, within the period of the challenges, you lack the money, you have to do probably 001. You know 001?
Yeah.
Not eating in the morning, afternoon, aiming them 101, and then the other way around 10.
I've not heard people doing 100 before.
Yeah, there is. There is. There is. I know some of my mentees are laughing now. You'll be watching it. Because some had to be so to that. That is some of the stream you could get into.
Okay.
Right. But then at that period, what do you do? All right. And that's where you need the mentors, you need the coaches, you need the buddies.
I was just coming to that.
Yeah.
We need some mentors to help
the
us
coach,
because
yes, and the buddies to be there for you. Also, you don't just need to see everybody to be. You need to, as a faith-based person, as a Christian, you need to connect with the Lord to lead you.
Yeah.
You see, the servant of Abraham, right, Eliezer, was so relying on God that God led him exactly to Rebecca. No curve, no bet. You get it?
Yeah.
And that is where it comes in. Look at Mordecai and Esther in terms of that also. Those were the challenges, right, that you're likely to face.
Okay.
Right. But then how do you go about it? That's where you rely on God's direction to take you in there.
Okay.
So mentors, the ultimate mentor and coach is God. He will lead you to those human beings and those institutions, those organizations. You see, sometimes we think mentors are only individual human beings. It could be institutions, it could be organizations.
That's true.
For instance, I know the development and social services departments of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana have various units that are working in that. All right. Currently, we have our RIPE, Raising Young Presbyterian Entrepreneurs, coaches, mentees that we have in it now. And that is, you need them. Yeah. There are other ones across the country and beyond the countries you could be able to work on within that. So the challenges, you face financial challenges, is a work alone. You face environmental challenges, right? Sometimes you even face spiritual challenges.
That's true.
You understand? You face cultural challenges, especially whatever you're doing, if it's not going very well in line with the environment you find yourself in. Sometimes you even have to travel, you have to relocate, right? Those are the challenges that would come. But when you've really set your agenda well and you planned your business well and it you've committed them unto the Lord Himself will guide you in the way to go about.
At what point sometimes do you need to kind of do a review to see whether you are on track? At what point in your planning and your goal setting do you need to check?
Ideally, we say you have at least not less than 4 times. Some will also say not less than 3 times. At least at the beginning of the year, right? Okay. The next quarter. You could do it quarterly, you do it 4 times, right? Okay. Others also will do the 3 times in there. Others will just do the beginning, the mid-year, and the end year to be able to. It helps and guides the processes. So things you need to change, as we talked about earlier, you're able to do them. If you wait too long, all right, there are also that times that you also have to do the ad hoc pause and reflect. Okay. The dynamics have changed. Let's see when we went through the financial crisis. The dynamics changed. Do you want to wait till when we went through the COVID time? You needed to, you get it. Even when things are going well, you need to also pause and reflect. Okay. All right, and take stock and move into the next line.
Great. So that's very good, because sometimes you would want to go and like you do just a review at the end of the year. Was I able to? You would have realized that maybe not even a single one was attained. You started this, you started that, you start a lot of them and never get to the end points. But I believe this is just the start of the conversations that we are yet to even have more of it. So any final words to our young people watching us, to other people watching, any final words briefly?
Yes, please. So all these things deal with setting agenda to drive your focus. Okay. That's very important. Secondly, business planning always provides structure for you. Strategy itself ensure long-term impact in all that you want to do. And alignment of all these 3 leads to effectiveness and sustainability of your business, of yourself, and the future direction that you want to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alexander Nwe, for being that expert. I know this is your field and a lot of insights have been shared, just as I have learned a lot. I know our viewers have also learned a lot from us, and we have more to come your way in the other editions of Entrepreneurship Clinic, and so you should stay with us. Dr. Alexander Nwe he has over 25 years of working experience in international development, and he is a social entrepreneur as well in agribusiness. He has over 20 years of mentoring and coaching youth across the continent, and he is a technical advisor for the Design Thinking and Innovation Hub at the University of Cape Coast, and he's also the chair for the National Entrepreneurship Committee. Thank you so much, Doc, for doing this with us. We are so grateful.
Thank you as well.
And so do join us in the next edition of Entrepreneurship Clinic, as this was brought to you by the Department of Development and Social Services in collaboration with PCG TV. And we have been sponsored by Salem Water and the Salem range of products. My name is Mavis Nankole Ayi, and we say see you in the next edition. It's a bye for now.